How's everyone doing? I appreciate y'all for tapping in with notable prisons and the inmates that's occupied them. Now, what I'm gonna need y'all to do is, you already know the vibes. Get your lighters ready, cause we about to see who gets smoked this episode. And another thing, stay tuned till like maybe the middle or the end. But I have a kind of a cool announcement. It's something new that I'm gonna do with the channel. So stay tuned. Anyways, let's get to business, people. We're gonna take a trip up north to Corcoran. So, Corcoran, it's a California state prison, right? It's a male state prison, and it's located in Kings County. The facility is just north of the Corcoran 2. So there's multiple facilities for Corcoran, right? Right. But anyways, it's up north in Kings County. Maybe it's by Humboldt. Maybe it's by the Emerald Triangle. I don't know, but I know it's not by Los Angeles. You know what I mean? So anyway, as of 2002, Corcoran had a total of 1,700 staff and and they had an annual institutional budget of $115 million. As of April 30th, 2020, Corcoran was incarcerating people at 119% of its design capacity, with 3,700 inmates. So that means they need to kick some people out or build more, structures. The locations that are within Corcoran, like the different cells or units, they have individual cells, fence perimeters and armed coverage. Then they have level IV, I forget the Roman numeral that is, with cells, fenced or walled perimeters, electronic security, more staff, armed officers, both inside and outside of this place. And then they have the SHU, the security housing unit, the most secure area within the level 4, I think, prison, designed to provide maximum coverage. Then they have the no good yard, the protective housing unit, and then they have the death row, which holds up to 47 people who require extraordinary protection from other prisoners. The unit houses inmates whose safety would be endangered by general population housing. So that means the people who do weird and crazy and disgusting crimes. The protective housing unit has been described as strikingly calm because inmates don't want to be moved somewhere less guarded. One violent incident occurred in March 1999 when 3 inmates attacked Juan Corona, inflicting minor injuries, and smashed Charles Manson's guitar. 3 other protective housing unit inmates suffered minor injuries. Do y'all want to hear a little bit about Juan Corona? I need me a Corona, but I don't have one. Anyways, he was a Hispanic serial killer who was convicted of the murders of 25 migrant farm workers found buried in shallow graves and peach orchards along the Feather River in Sutton County, California. Oh yeah, so I see why they wanted to whoop him. How you gonna just do that to 25 workers? You know what I mean? Like, these people are trying to, put on for their family, and you take it upon yourself to knock them off. That's crazy. But yeah. So yeah, damn, that's crazy. That is crazy. Some good notes for a player, I tell you that much. So it was built on what was once Tulare Lake, home to the Yokuts Native American people, meaning it was built on native land. Brief history: in California, we have a lot of native land. So you have places like, for instance, like on some of the native land in California, they have casinos like Casino Morongo, Pachanga, Saboba, San Manuel, and all those places is Native American land, which are the only places you could gamble in California. So I say that to say, California has a lot of cool native land, and native people are cool as hell. I got a couple buddies from Pachanga and Morongo. I actually dated a girl that was from the Pachanga tribe. But anyways, the facility opened in 1988. The prison hospital was created in the prison hospital was dedicated in October 1993. In March 1993, at Corcoran, a prisoner named Wayne Jerome Robertson, he R-worded Eddie Dillard. You know, the R word that sounds horrible. R-A-P. You know what letter comes next. He did that to this guy named Eddie Dillard, right? And a prisoner was half his size. After the latter was reassigned to his cell, Robertson, who had the nickname of Booty Bandit, testified in 1999 that prison guards set up the attack. Dillard testified in the same trial after Robertson was assigned to a general population at Pelican Bay. They put him on the main line after that, y'all. And the California State Senator Tom Hayden stated it is almost certain that he would be targeted for death. Well, a front page article by Mark Arix in August 1996, the Los Angeles Times claimed that Corcoran was the most troubled of the 32 state prisons. At the time, Corcoran officers had shot and killed more inmates than any other prison in the country. In Corcoran's 8 years of existence, 7 inmates have been killed and 50 others seriously wounded. Based on interviews and documents, ARAX also concluded that many shootings of prisoners were not justified and that in some cases the wrong inmates was killed by mistake. Furthermore, the article also alleged the officers and their supervisors staged fights between inmates during the Gladiator days. And also, in November in 96, CBS News, they aired something called the video footage of an inmate fatally shot by guards at Corcoran in 1994, and it spawned a probe by the FBI of the alleged inmate abuses by the guards. So that is more than a brief, slight history. But you know what time it is. Now it's time. Get the lighter ready. Stay tuned for this announcement, okay? Stay tuned. Trust me. Stay tuned for a player. And I appreciate everyone that's made it this far. And I appreciate everyone that's subscribed. And I appreciate everyone that watches. But you can subscribe too, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, Israel Aguirre, convicted and sentenced to death for torturing and killing Gabriel Fernandez. He is currently on death row awaiting execution. Y'all get y'all's lighters ready. Because when he goes to that chair, we gonna be smoking that Israel Aguirre pack. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, light that up. Next up, we have Joseph James D'Angelo, a serial killer and a rapist who received multiple sentences of life without parole in 2020 for 13 murders committed between 75 and 86 in protective custody. You know, someone said to me in the comments that my opinions about some of these people I should keep to myself. However, I agree with you. I probably should. But when there's people like this that do these crazy crimes, man, they are scummy. And when he gets knocked off in that chamber, we're going to be blowing that Joseph James D'Angelo pack. Like, I have no, like, you know, yeah, criminals are normal people. But when you have that R word up in your charges and you're like, you know, and you're taking advantage of children, you're not just the average criminal. You're like evil, like you're a monster. You know what I'm saying? Next up, we have Scott Dulesky. He was sentenced to 25 years to life for a murder he committed at the age of 16. Yeah, I want to know a little bit more about Scotty. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Scotty. Scotty is an American murderer convicted of murdering his neighbor, Pamela Vitelli, the wife of a prominent attorney. He received the maximum penalty by law, which is life without parole. And he was a juvenile at the time. So that's why he's not in the execution chamber or whatever. Next up, we have Dana, D-A-N-A, Ewell, a convicted triple murderer. He ordered the murders of his family in 1992, and he's serving 3 life sentences and has exhausted his appeals in protective custody. Yeah, this is a pretty scummy individual too. Yeah, pretty scummy. Oh man, this dude got one of them crazy sentences. Philip Garrido. Now, I have mentioned this dude's name before. I'm not sure if it was one of the other episodes, but I just remember the J.C. Dugard name. But anyways, that's who he is. He kidnapped J.C. Dugard in 1991, and he is serving 431 years to life. That was basically the judge's way of saying, look, check this out. You will never get out of here. You are smoked. Smoked. Next up, we have Ben Tai Luck. He's serving a life sentence for murdering his friend Vincent Lee and 4 of Lee's family members. Man, that's messed up. R.I.P. to those people. Next up, we have Hale Mark Hassef. He's a convicted murderer of Bill Cosby's son. In 1998, he received a sentence of life without parole, plus 10 years. They had to put that little extra on there. Next, we have Brandon Pettit. He's convicted of murdering his parents and sentenced to 2 consecutive terms of life in prison without parole. Next up, we have John Floyd Thomas Jr. Get your lighters ready. He is a serial R-wordist and a killer. Scummy. This individual's picture that you're looking at right now is scummy. He's horrible. He's an awful person. I would love to say a whole lot more, but, I gotta tame it down for YouTube. But he is scummy. We about to be smoking on that John Floyd Thomas Jr. back. As soon as someone, Next up, David Turpin. He was sentenced to 25 years to life for holding captive and torturing 12 of his 13 children. Corcoran is definitely one of the prisons that's held some very, very scummy ass individuals. It's crazy. Next we have Michael Jace. He's serving 40 years to life for killing his wife in 2014. 40 years to life. My only thing I gotta ask him is, bruh, was it worth it? There's a good chance you could have just left her alone and been with someone else and been out of your feelings. I had a relative, story time real quick. I had a relative of mine. He drove like 2 hours to go see his ex-wife. He shoots her, thinking that he's killing her. She didn't die, and he offs himself. Like, I have no respect for that man. That's like my blood cousin. Like, oh my goodness. But yeah, I have no respect for people doing that to their wife. It ain't that serious, bro. Just let her go. Even if it hurts you to death, just find someone else, And here's a few former inmates. And also, stay tuned, man, for the announcement. Stay tuned. We about to be there. Stay tuned, player. Rodney Alcala, the dating game killer. He's sentenced to death in 1980. 1986 and 2010. On July 24th, 2021, he died from natural causes at a hospital. Man, let me tell you a little something about this dating game killer. He was an American serial killer and sex offender who was sentenced to death in California for 5 murders committed in the state between 77 and 79 and received an additional 25 years to life after pleading guilty to 2 homicides in New York. Yeah. He's out of here. Get your lighters ready. Next up, we have Juan Corona. He murdered 25 people in 1971, and he was transferred to Corcoran from Soledad in 92. And on March 4th, 2019, he died from natural causes. So these are the former people that's died. And there's other former people on here. There's actually a very notable former person on here. That's definitely a well-respected man. I'll get to him in a second, though. Next, we have John Albert Gardner III, convicted of the murders of Chelsea King in 2010 and Amber DuBois in 2009. Damn. That is crazy. What this let me just inform you all a little bit more about John Albert Gardner the third. Fucking Johnny Third. So, he's from Culver City. But anyways, he's a convicted double murder, rapist, and child molester. He confessed to February 09 of rape and murder of a 14-year-old. And from Escondido. In February 2010, he R-worded and murdered a 17-year-old from Poway. Damn. After he entered a plea agreement that spared him from execution, additionally, Gardner attempted to R-word a 22-year-old Candice Monaco of San Diego and had been previously incarcerated for M-wording, M-O-L-E-S-T-A-T-I-O-N, of a 13-year-old girl. Damn. This dude right here is a scummy scumball. Ooh, wee. Major scummer. Those are, oh, wow. But anyways, on May 14, 2010, Judge David sentenced Gardner to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He spared himself of the execution. That's crazy. That dude has some, man, he really has some demons in him. Next up, Charles Manson. Y'all know, the leader of the Manson family. He was transferred from San Quentin to Corcoran in 1989. And on November 12, 2017, he was taken to Bakersfield Hospital for an unspecified illness. And November 19, 2017, Manson died in the hospital. I actually know someone that was locked up with him. Not locked up with him, but that was on the yard at the same yard as him. So, next up. So what I have learned from doing these videos is that, you got a couple people who are key people that are very high ranking in these prison walls that I've mentioned. The first one that I realized that I was unaware of until after I did the episode, and then I did some research on the guy, is Tyler Bingham and Barry Mills, the AB guys. And then, right now, who I'm about to introduce, Joe Pegleg Morgan. I know he's a big guy in the amongst the the Southsiders and stuff. And with all due respect, I take my hat off to these men and hey, I salute them and free them. You know what I'm saying? And R.I.P. Joe Pegleg Morgan. But anyways, back to my notes. He's an infamous member of the Mexican Mafia, and he was at Pelican Bay State Prison prior to being hospitalized at Corcoran from October 93 until his death in November 1993. Let me tell y'all a little something about Joe Pegleg Morgan. He received this nickname by authorities because of his prosthetic leg. And yeah, that's about as much as I'm gonna talk about him, because you know what I'm saying? Just some things you just you don't do. Next up, we have Yanok or Doryan. He was an Armenian surgeon who was convicted of welfare fraud. He earned the moniker the King of Welfare and was released February 21st, 2000. And then Sirhan, I know you've seen this dude's image before. He was also at Corcoran once upon a time. And he's the convicted assassin of Robert F. Kennedy. But now I believe he's at Donovan, because he actually was on the first episode I did. And Last but not least, we have Joseph's son. He's a South Korean mixed martial art fighter, manager, and actor. He served 7 years to life there for the R word and torture until he killed a convicted sex offender, Michael Thomas Graham, and was transferred to Salinas. So this dude was a anyways, so what we got going on, people, is the next thing that will be dropping will be an interview I did with someone who was locked up at Corcoran. And that's pretty much what I wanted to announce to you guys. So stay tuned, look out for that episode, and let me know what you think about the idea of, I do an episode, then I interview someone that was at the prison I previously did. Also, I'm open to more ideas to help the page grow. So drop your feedback in the comments. I read all the comments. I respond to everyone. You guys can follow me on Instagram. That link's in the bio. And yeah, player, I appreciate y'all for watching.